Okay, here we are. We're here. We're back.
First recording of 2021.
No. We
Yeah.
did an episode last week.
Didn't we do that before New Year's?
No, we recorded January 4th.
Oh, yeah?
About 3 days ago. Hey, guys. My pal's brain
Rick's out to lunch
Rick
today.
left his brain in 2020. I'm George.
And I'm obviously your pal Rick. This episode, we had Mike Shoreman on the podcast. He is the author of Crash and Rise, the Diaries of the Unbalanced Paddleboarder. He's also got a great story about facing adversity, some issues with mental health, and some health issues that have led him to the point he is now. So it's a great motivational, inspirational episode. He's had videos shared by Ashton Kutcher, Jay Shetty, and has gone viral numerous times. So this is definitely not an episode you want to miss, and one that is real, one of those feel-good moments. Georgie, tell me where our sponsors are.
We want to give a shout out to our who are our sponsors? Sorry, got it. A little brain. Look, I left my brain in 2022. Shout out to our sponsor, Cast. For those who don't know, your pal, me and my pal have another project on the side that we're getting ready to launch, almost at the point of beta. And it's coming to your iPhone and Android very, very soon. You can get a little bit inside scoop at createyourcast.com or Create Your Cast on socials. Check it out, guys. Show your support. Follow it. Early signups coming up soon. We want to give another quick shout out to our boys, the Kiriazakos brothers over at Brazilian Canadian Coffee. For those who don't know, these brown cups, there's no video, so I don't know why I'm holding this up, but the brown cups have been on our table since we've had the studio because it is the best coffee in the game, and specifically want to give a shout out to their brand Wild Coffee, WYLD Coffee. Certified fair trade organic coffee. It's a passion project of one of the brothers, Dimitri. Fantastic product, guys. It's great to support local and fair trade. Organic and fair trade. You can go see them at Wild Coffee on socials, WYLD Coffee. Check them out, and I guess that's a good point to hit this. Let's go, LFG. Let's go.
Downloads. I don't know if it's going to be this episode or next episode or the next one. It all depends. But we're close. The 100K mark is it's in sight. It's in sight. It's in sight.
You can almost reach it.
I
almost
know,
grab it. Yeah. Well, Mike, welcome. Nice to have you pull it closer, so it should be like right a little
there.
Yeah, when you're comfortable.
Yeah, good.
You're good.
Okay.
So let's jump right into it, boys.
Let's do it, Rick. Fire it up.
Well, you know what? We were just talking off camera about. So you're going to be paddleboarding from Rochester to Toronto.
Yeah.
How far is that?
So it's 96 miles.
Okay, and the average pace of a paddleboarder is approximately.
So.
Are you? Sorry to interrupt. Are you gonna do math in your head to figure out the speed?
Well, I was just trying to figure out how many hours
carry,
it take.
carry the two.
Well, how many? You said 196. Let's say you paddleboard at an average pace of what? 10 kilometers an hour, give or take.
So most races are like 50K.
Pull the
okay.
Fix it a little bit.
Here, I'll set you up.
Good.
Pull it a little bit so it's that should be good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
So most races are like 50K.
Okay.
Like there's a Chattanooga, one down in Tennessee, and that's 50K. There's one in Ottawa to Kingston, and this is much longer than that.
Okay,
Sorry, how many kilometers you say it was across?
So it's 96 miles.
96 miles.
Yeah.
160, 130, 1.6, 130, 160.
Give or take. It'd be 160 kilometers,
give
or take.
Yep.
And so the 50-kilometer race would take about how many hours?
Generally, they like to give you, if it's like a competitive thing, they generally give you like 12 hours. But people, like the good ones, like power through, and they can get it done in like half that time.
Okay, so let's call, for argument's sake, you're paddleboarding about 10 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
So your thing's going to take about, give or take, 15 hours, 15, 16 hours.
Probably more, because the farther you go,
Yeah,
the
the
longer,
slower.
the more fatigued.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to take longer for me because I've got a neurological condition.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to do, I've got balance problems, so I'm going to have to do a bunch of it sitting down.
Okay.
And that's going to slow me down.
Okay.
Rather than go
Full
straight through.
Yeah.
But it's it's really exciting. Like I've been talking to people, and like the Toronto Marine Police Unit, I've agreed to come out and meet me like 20K out and like bring me back in.
That's
like
sick.
to like clear out all the boats and stuff. And
Has this been done before? Is this like a common thing in the paddleboarding community?
so I think people like to do big distances. I know a few people who have done, like Chris Burdish. He was SUP Man of the Year in 2017. He crossed from Morocco to Antigua. And
far is that?
well,
Morocco's the corner of Africa.
the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's huge. I know some people
Wait,
who
sorry. Morocco to Antigua in the Caribbean?
Yeah, he became the first person to cross the Atlantic
Hold on a second. On
on a paddleboard. Yeah, it had like a built-in like boat or like a built-in like bedroom so that he could sleep. But like when he speaks about it, like he says like you can hear the sharks like knocking at night, like the
across the Atlantic on a paddleboard.
yeah
What the?
yeah.
See,
Rick?
George, this is a good chance to, when you edit it, put a little picture of what's this guy's name?
Chris Burdish.
Chris Burdish.
Boom, right there.
Yeah.
Picture.
Write that name down so I can look it up.
She's getting the
I gotta
title.
look
And there have been
That's
people
crazy.
that have crossed the channel from England to France.
Okay.
There are some people who've gone from Port Dalhousie to I think to Mississauga-ish, but I think this is going to be the first one going from USA to Canada from
That's
Rochester.
awesome. Good for you.
And I chose that route because it's probably the most challenging. Like I could do the route that Marilyn Bell swam, but this one's a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think I really want to push myself as hard as I can go. Also, the cross we're calling it the crossing.
Okay.
And I'm doing it for mental health. For Jack.org, which is a mental health organization in Canada. And when I'm out there, or when we're out there, it's going to be kind of like a mental health journey. Like,
For sure.
You're
by yourself.
You're
So
right.
Like people over there supporting you, but by yourself and you
you're-
and the board.
You're the one who has to do it.
Yeah.
You're in your own head the whole time.
So it kind of represents that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Complete side note, George, have you ever paddleboarded?
Yes. Where did I do it? Did I do it with my sister somewhere? I have done it before. I don't remember. Australia? I've done it. I've done it before. Yeah. Like I'm not great at it. I mean, I can go pretty slow across but
I did it in Florida, in Naples, about 3 or 4 years ago. It was like a little bit rocky, and we saw them. They were renting them out. It's like
Nice.
$10 for an hour or whatever.
Yep.
Like me and my mom were like, let's go
I did
do
it in
it.
Hawaii. Sorry, that's right. I did it in Hawaii.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we were gonna do it. It was too choppy. Like, you know what? It's too
Yeah.
choppy. Never done it. Let's wait.
Yep.
Next day, go out there, and I'm a relatively, good athlete. I have good balance. I was a
Yep.
goalie in hockey, so I figured, how hard can this thing be? Yeah, no, I was terrible. I just remember, like, I'm on my feet. I kept falling, and my legs are so sore from trying to keep my balance. My mom was like, just sit. I'm like, no, I can't sit. I got to stand. Like, wiped out. I think it lasted about 30 minutes on this thing. And then I was like, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah. My first lesson that I ever did was about 10 years ago, and it was just when paddleboarding was kind of booming and everybody was starting to do it. And I did like an hour lesson, and I did it in the Toronto Harbor out of Cherry Beach, and 45 minutes in the water was crap.
Yeah.
It wasn't good at all.
Yeah.
And but like the falling's the fun bit.
For sure.
So it just kind of hooked me, and yeah,
And here you are 10 years later.
here I am 10 years later.
There's a lot to unpack. I have many questions. Now obviously, we're going to jump on a lot of things here, but just to even go back, like, what even, obviously, hook from the beginning, and but what inspired you to take on a challenge like this? I mean, I think we know the answer, but for the listeners as well, but what gave you the idea even just to say, I want to go across Lake Ontario? I'm assuming you never done 160
No.
kilometers. So,
No.
I mean, what's the farthest you've gone?
The farthest I've gone was about 35K. And no, I think this is if this takes me 2 days, this will take me 2 days.
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
takes me 3 days, it'll take me 3 days.
I love that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It
You just gotta
doesn't
complete
matter.
it.
Yeah. One of my messages that I say to people is just finish your race. Just whatever it is, however, like, doesn't matter where you come, doesn't matter if you come first or if you come second,
Yeah.
but just like finish your race, and this is gonna be like that. It
That's a
doesn't
great
matter.
message, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's all relative, right? At the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. It's
Yeah.
a really good
Yeah.
message. So what? Just to go back to that point, like, so what was where did you get the idea to do Lake Ontario? Like, what was it like? Like from 30 to like 190 or 160, I guess, kilometers wise, is a big jump. Like, what was it like? You know what? Screw it, I can do it. Like, what gave you that?
I think so. I'm gonna do it with a friend.
Okay.
She owns a paddleboarding company in Toronto. Her name's Gudrun. She owns SUP Toronto in Ashbridges Bay. And Shout out.
There we go.
And she's a big part of my paddleboarding journey story. And I said to her, you know, I really want to do this with somebody. I really, and you've been a big part of this with me. Would you be my support in it? Like, we're gonna have boats around us,
Yep.
but just to have company, and to have somebody on the water. And we were talking about it, and she was like, I'll totally do it with you. Like, this is a great cause.
Yeah,
and you know, it'll make a huge difference. So let's just go for it.
Yeah.
So she's actually training down in Puerto Escondido in Mexico.
Oh wow.
She's
A little
got
bit warmer down there.
A little bit warmer. She sent me an update today. She was on the water on the Pacific.
Yeah.
I was on the water in Toronto. It was a little bit different.
You're on like a wetsuit, snowsuit.
Yeah.
She's in her like little bathing suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little different.
A little different. Yeah.
Sunscreen on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. So I was wearing like a dry suit today. It's a little bit different than a wetsuit. So a dry suit, like, you look like an astronaut. So like, if I fall in the water, like, no water gets into it at all. But yeah.
So hold on before.
Yeah.
So what you're doing too is very similar. Well, how's you're telling this story? It's very similar to what we did maybe about 2 months ago. So me and Georgie ran a marathon.
Okay.
And we said, we don't care how long it takes us to finish.
No.
We just want to finish it.
Yeah.
And similar to you, like, he wanted to run it and he called me. He's like, hey, you want to
Yeah.
run this? And I was like, yeah,
Sweet.
F it. Why not? Right.
Nice.
I don't know if I could do it, but as long as we finish.
Yeah.
We
He's
had,
like, I'm not. You literally said, yeah, I'll be outside for 6 hours. I don't care.
A whole marathon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did
So-
42.2 kilometers. Actually,
Amazing.
42.5 actually.
more. I almost.
yeah, we
Yeah,
did 42.5.
Like, I told Ricky, like, did the math. It was like the last. So it was in November. It was like the last good day. It was like a random Saturday in November, and it was like 12, 15 degrees out or something. Like, we got really lucky, and it was the weekend. I had planned to run a marathon that got canceled on that weekend, so it just worked out. Like, the weather god said, you know what, we're giving you every opportunity, no excuses. So I called Rick, and he's like, yeah. He didn't even really think about it. I was like, I've been training.
Like, you know what? I want to hang out with my buddy. Okay, you know, maybe I can't do this, but I know I could walk 42 kilometers. So worst case scenario, just walk the whole thing. And we did it. It was hell at one point. I think my body's still regretting it, but
Watching you a couple of times put me in pain.
yeah,
Like,
I was definitely pain. But we accomplished it. We didn't set a time before. We had some goals in mind, but we said as long as we finish it, we just don't stop. We just need to keep moving the entire time. And we said we might do one next year and try to raise some money too, because it was an experience.
Yeah.
Where was this?
So we started at my condo at King and Spadina,
Okay.
King of John area. Then we ran east to kind of Leslieville
Leslie.
area.
Yeah.
Then we ran down to Cherry Beach,
Nice.
kind of played around in that little area for maybe 5-10 kilometers.
Yeah.
Then we did Lakeshore all the way from Cherry Beach all the way
here,
to Port
Ontario.
Credit.
Wow.
Yeah, just straight shot to Ontario, and then up a little bit. So, like, my parents live up in that area, so
Awesome.
went up there, and then it was a struggle the last few
Yeah,
kilometers.
the last 15.
Yeah.
Like when we hit the 30 mark, that's when it was kind of like, all right, you know what? The vibes are running low. That's when it started to hurt. But no, as you were saying that, just reminded me. So
Yeah, and obviously ours is a little bit different. Like, we did it just for us to do it, where there was no cause involved. So that's obviously a big part of yours. Like, you're trying to do it to raise money, and I mean, obviously there's a bit of a story there. So, do you want to give us a little bit of background as to obviously what led you and inspired you to this cause, and kind of your background and how you got into this?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So I used to be a paddleboarding coach. I used to teach professionally in front of Toronto Skyline. So I worked out of Cherry Beach, and I was a coach with Paddle Canada, which is the national organization, and I used to teach lessons right in front of the Toronto Skyline, and it was like this big experience thing. I focused on sunsets because I thought it was, really
Picturesque. Yeah.
picturesque, romantic, in front of a skyline, planes on top of you, take really amazing pictures of everybody.
Cue my date idea for next summer.
It's a great.
Put that in the bank for next summer.
Was featured quite often on Toronto Date Ideas.
Yeah, like
actually.
Nar City. Like 21 things to do in the summer with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
For sure. I get it.
So
Or with your boyfriend, partner. No.
Teach their own.
Yeah. Oh no, it was great. Like I've taught so many people who were on like first dates and they're still on my social media and now I'm like, oh, they're engaged now. Or like, this is
Sparks of love, the skyline.
They're not. Like, just like.
He's like, oh shoot, the pictures are gone.
I saw that one coming. but no, like
She wasn't very good. I knew it was gonna last.
That's me and my exes.
But it was really cool. Like I got to see like people kind of getting together and friends and whatever. And in 2018 I went out to California in my off season. And
off season's right now, obviously. Right?
Off season's right now. So off season in Toronto kind of starts in October.
Yeah.
Unless you're crazy and going across Lake Ontario, then it's
there's
not
no
the
off season.
There's no off season.
Fair.
No. So I went out to Laguna Beach and I was going out to set up a business partnership to run retreats and workshops. And my whole idea was that I would be in California in my off season. And I came back and I got really sick 10 days later. So my chickenpox virus from when I was a kid reactivated in my ear. And so when chickenpox reactivates from stress, it's shingles. And most people know shingles as being really painful. It is. It's excruciating. Mine attacked my ear. So when it attacks your eye or your ear, it's this very rare condition. It's called Ramsey Hunt syndrome. And overnight, like in a period of 5 days, my face collapsed. Hearing problems, vision problems, speech problems, because my face dropped and I lost my sense of balance. So I couldn't really, I couldn't walk from here to, from where you are to me without being held. And, I was, paddleboarding on top of the world, thinking about going out to California, and then suddenly I'm the unbalanced paddleboarder and I can't move.
Well, life's turned upside down.
And the ear, I'm guessing it has to do with equilibrium and everything like that. Like it kind of.
Yeah. So like dizziness, extreme vertigo. They sent me. They sent me for an MRI to rule out brain damage. And it was just like one series of devastating appointments after the next one.
I think I remember reading or watching one of the videos where you said there was a misdiagnosis, and if they caught it in the first 72 hours, things could have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
How was that like?
So with this, you have 72-hour window to start taking treatment.
Was it antibiotics or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I went to the first symptoms were just really, really bad pain. So I went to a walk-in clinic, and then, I got, painkillers, and then I thought, a day later I should go to a hospital. And I remember driving to the hospital, and I remember feeling dizzy as I was driving and thinking, this isn't right. Like I feel like I've been drinking and they asked me questions, have you been out of the country lately? And I said, yeah. And so what were you doing? And I said, I was surfing and paddleboarding. And they said, oh, you've got dirty water in the ear infection. And that was it. And they let me go. And then a couple days later I'm at my parents at this point, and I come downstairs and my face dropped. And my mom just kind of guided me to the mirror, and she was like, we need to get you to the hospital.
Yeah. This isn't dirty water.
This isn't dirty water. But they actually said it was at that hospital. And they didn't run any tests that day. It took two more days and another hospital trip to the third hospital before they said, we're going to send you for blood work. We're going to send you for everything, for a CT scan, for everything. And then the doctor came back and he said, this is what it is. We missed the window here, but we're gonna still give you the steroids, and we're gonna see how it goes. And what do you do? And I said, I'm a professional paddleboarder. And he went, oh boy.
Yeah.
So
that's a tough pill to swallow. It
Yeah.
tells you that, right?
yeah.
So this is 2018, you said, correct?
Yeah, November 2018. It was Remembrance Day.
Wow.
So
I was gonna ask you about, like, so then from that point on, like, you lose your balance completely. You said you couldn't walk from this far. Like, how long did that last? And then when did you determine, like, I need to do something about this, and I gotta kind of start going through, I guess, the rehab process and all that stuff? Like,
Yeah.
what was that?
Yeah. So
like
with
there?
my condition, I get really dizzy when I turn my head from side to side still.
Okay.
When I move it up and down. And,
Is it
and
sorry,
side
not to
side.
cut you off? Is it improved or still like it over time? Does it not improve with rehab, or is it something that will always be as bad as the beginning?
I think I've probably plateaued
Okay.
with my recovery at this point. Although it's nothing compared to what I was.
Right.
I was using a cane. I was holding on to people. I had to wear an eye patch because my face had dropped. My eye was kind of like bulging out.
Wow.
Like I looked like Two-Face from Batman. And yeah, no, it was so that happened in November. In January, I started, it's called vestibular rehab therapy, and it's kind of retraining your brain how to compensate with the loss that you're given. So it's retraining
like some basic steps.
Yeah. So I do exercises where I'd like walk down the hall and like I'd walk a few steps and turn my head this way, and then walk a few more steps and turn my head this way, and eventually over time it all helps.
You're doing a lot of like almost baby steps.
Yeah. I remember my physiotherapist, I call him the Flash. He was amazing. Like very, I was in a rough spot. I was probably the most vulnerable I've probably ever had to be, and it was very dark period. And he would be very gentle and easy, but also push me. And yeah, no, it was amazing.
So that's, let's call it, you were doing that for how long? Maybe 6 months, or is it a year?
So the rehab started in January, and I still do the exercises now, but no, I was doing rehab almost into the following fall. Yeah.
So then from there, when was the next time you got back on a paddleboard?
I got back on the paddleboard May long weekend.
This year?
No,
2020?
that
Oh,
year. So it happened
2019.
in November, and I got back on in May.
wow.
So 6 months later, give or take.
Yeah.
But did they tell you, like, did you think at the beginning when it first happened, did you think, or did they say, like, there's a chance that you're not going to get back on the paddleboard again?
Yeah. So in April, I had 2 big appointments, kind of back to back. The first one was with the ENT specialist, and he said, after reviewing everything, no flying. You're not going to be able to fly. You're not going to be able to do long car trips like roadies. You're not going to be able to paddleboard. You're like being around water's not going to work with this condition. It's going to just make you sick. And then the next day I went to find out, see how my face was repairing. And they said that there was a cross wiring of the nerves, and that it was repairing incorrectly. So it was like two really, really big hits.
Wow.
And that night I checked into a mental health treatment facility.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was just breaking point. It was just done.
Yeah, well, you can imagine your whole life is literally turned upside down, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess dropped in half, I guess. So it's obviously tough, and kudos to you for making it to where you are now. And we'll obviously kind of touch on the book and some of the other things, but on that point of checking yourself into a mental health clinic, that's obviously a big topic, especially around this time of the year.
Yeah.
What was that like? How did you know you needed to do it? Like I've battled depression and other issues myself, and I remember my tipping point. I remember the exact moment, the exact spot I was. I could tell you like identical or the exact moment. What was it like for you to say, holy fuck, my life is I swear, like, holy crap, my life is just turned upside down. I need to go and get help.
Yeah. So it was kind of like,
you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
yeah, no. So, overnight, like my independence, my business, my social life, I remember announcing like on social media, like I'm done. Like to my followers, my clients, just saying like I'm not gonna be able to carry on like this. And no, like my days were just, I stopped going out. Friends would say like, let me come over and see you, or I'll take you to a movie. And I'm like, I don't want to be seen. Like people are looking at my face and wondering like, why is that guy wearing an eye patch and wearing a cane and using a cane and all this stuff. And I just was like, no, I don't want to be out in the world. And I just shut down. I isolated myself. I kind of joke around that like this is my second isolation. Like
COVID's your second.
Like that was my national Olympics. That was my national championships. This is my Olympics.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least we can laugh about it now, right? Like,
yeah.
Turning a dark point into a happier point. Which is nice.
But like it was just a really dark period, and I shut down. Like I was talking to people, but like I wasn't really talking to people. I wasn't telling people what I was going through, what I was feeling, and I just bottled everything up until I just had the breakdown, and I told my folks, I just said I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this. And they're like, we're gonna get you some help.
That's good.
If you don't mind me asking, even before this incident happened, were you naturally an introverted or extroverted person? Or mix of both? Like, what do you would consider yourself?
I think a mix of both. Like one of my favorite parts about paddleboarding was meeting new people and having conversation. Like I'd start my lessons off with, introduction, like handshakes, and by the end it was hugs.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And then it was just like the social was just boom, gone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So when all that kind of happened, you just kind of went all internal and blocked out everything and just didn't want to.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I was also very, very stressed because stress is an activator for this. And I was scared out of my mind that it was going to come back. And like for anybody that's listening to this, like you can go on my social media. I actually just posted a picture today of what that looked like, and the pictures are rough. Like it's a hard thing to kind of
course
look at,
it's always tough, and kudos to you for getting to where you are now. And to anybody listening, there are dark days, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Guarantee you that. He's a good example of it. Just because you're having a bad day doesn't make it a bad life. We all have bad days. And that's kind of, I want to switch on to a little bit after that. So maybe that was, let's say 2018-ish.
Yeah.
So now you've got back on the board.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting first lesson. Yeah. First time you got back on, I'm assuming you probably sucked. No offense.
First time was 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah. I describe it as the best 3 minutes of my life as a 35.
That's what girls describe it with me too.
Yeah.
Zing! I'm joking.
You're not joking. That was a good one.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a little dark patch there. I wanted to cheer things up and make it a little funny.
That was funny. You're making fun of yourself,
so
buddy.
So a good 3 minutes on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get off or you fall off, I'm assuming.
No, I just sat on it for 3 minutes and just sat in this. I was the safety expert for the Canadian Safe Boating Council, and they partner with the OPP every May long weekend to do safety demonstrations, and I'd been their safety media expert, and they'd invited me back without realizing that anything was wrong. And I didn't want to lose that opportunity, and in case I did come back someday. So I invited other people who had paddleboarding businesses to come with me, and they could do the demonstrations. And then when all the media cleared out, my friends said, "Hey, do you want to try getting back on a board?" And I did. And they were like, "We're going to stay with you." And I just lasted for a few minutes. But it gave me the confidence to go out and try for 5 minutes next time. And then I went out for 5 minutes, and then that gave me the confidence to go out and sit on paddleboard for 7 minutes. And then I think it was in July that I stood up for the first time, and I stood up for a minute or two.
And that's one of those like feel good moments.
Yeah. And then I wiped out.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally.
We
Okay,
always
so-
have that every now and then.
Yeah,
We gotta
that's
get
what
stuck like that.
we look at each other. So you finally stood up, and this is maybe like a year later. We're give rough timelines. So you stood up. What took you from that moment to the moment where you are kind of now, I'm going to be going across from the States to Toronto? Like, where did it, was it like, okay, I saw the guys, what they did at the two gentlemen in Muskoka. They swam across Georgian Bay or whatever it was. Then did you see that and like a light bulb went off? This is what I'm going to do?
Yeah. So I got involved with Jack.org shortly after I did a thing called Speaker Slam, which is Canada's largest inspirational speaking competition. I think you guys have had Jose on.
Yeah,
here
we had
before.
Jose. Yeah, Jose. It's funny enough, that episode reached like top like 15 or something in Lebanon. Crazy.
Yeah, Jose's got it.
Yeah, I got it. Like
Yeah.
So I get notifications on the charts when we rank on the charts, and you know we're normally in Canada in our category. We pop in and out of top 100, top 200, whatever. And then I get a notification from Lebanon. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. But it was like 3 weeks after the episode release. I was so confused. I'm like, I guess that's Jose and his peoples.
Yeah. Jose's got a huge
following,
it's nuts. So Jose, I know Jose because we both competed at Speaker Slam, which is Canada's largest inspirational speaking competition. Different ones, and he won. And it's basically professional speakers getting on stage and sharing their story. And so I applied. I had a friend actually say, "I want you to do this." So I said, "Okay." And then they said, "We want you." And then I found out that these are all TED Talk speakers and all this. And I thought, crap, now I have to like really write. And
have you ever done public speaking?
I gave a really bad valedictorian speech once, and everybody hated it.
Valedictorian.
It was really bad. It was really bad speech.
Actually, George, you did the speech class at Western, right?
Yeah.
Second year, third year?
Second year.
I did mine in fourth.
Third year.
Yeah, I did mine in fourth year. I just wanted that easy mark.
Yeah, it's crazy. Most
It was
people.
an easy mark.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I didn't do so good.
Do you know what? To speak in front of 20 people, I can do that.
Okay.
I wouldn't get shy around 20 people. Those 30 people maybe.
See, that's what's so interesting. Like, everybody who's known me my entire life, when I tell them I used to be scared of public speaking, they're like, "There's no shot," because I talk more than anybody in the world probably, and I'm louder than most people. But actually, probably louder than even honestly, we're probably the two loudest people that we know. But anyways, I was terrified. I couldn't even stand in a room of like 5 people if I didn't know them. If I knew 1,000 people in a room, I could talk in front of all of them. As soon as you put like, and I don't know the majority. Terrible. Like you just speak fast. Then you start sweating. Then you speak faster because you're sweating.
Then you
then
mumble.
sweat
Then you
more.
go in circles.
Yeah. It's bad. Still not always the best public speaker. This is still those days. But anyways, enough about me. Back to the point.
But yeah, so their theme for the evening was courage, and it was 10 speakers to a room of 300, and I gave this speech about power and confidence when we lose it, and how each yes we say to ourselves. So for me, my first yes was mental health treatment. And then that led me to going that day to where the paddleboards were. And then that led me to my next yes, which was getting on the board. And then the yeses just kept on coming. And I used to do this thing with my clients where I tell them at the end of their lessons, you're always really shaky in the water at the beginning. And you have your most stationed when you have your paddle in the water. So at the end of the lessons, I'd kind of line all my students up in front of the CN Tower, and I would just like command them like an army sergeant. I'd be like, paddles up, and I'd tell them to raise their paddles, and then I'd take like amazing photos of them and send them to them. And I finished the speech with like, paddles up, and then it just became this movement. So I the speech went viral on several platforms like Power of Positivity. Ashton Kutcher put it on his platform. Jay Shetty put it on. Inner Light Media turned it into like a movie, and it got millions of views.
Wow.
And I woke up this one morning and I saw this picture of this like 10 paddleboarders from Australia, and it was tagged to my wall, and they're all holding their paddles up, and they're like, paddles up from Australia. And then somebody from Boston must have seen that, because then they did it, and they're like, paddles up from Boston. And then it went to like Texas, England, France, like it's like
Holy.
countries all over, and it was for paddles up for people struggling and for mental health. And it just became this big thing. So then I got involved with jack.org, and I just held my second annual Paddles Up event for mental health, and we raised money for them this past fall, and it was a big charity paddle, and yeah. And then I just decided, I was talking with the vice president of jack.org, and I just said, like, how's this season going? Like with fundraising, with, the situation that we're all in, and he said, it's okay. It's a challenge, but we've got, tons of people doing big community things. And then I started looking at it, and I saw the swimmers who swam Georgian Bay, and I just thought, no, I want to do this big thing, and I want to raise a lot of money for them.
That's awesome.
So,
That's what led you to come up with the idea to go across Lake Ontario.
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it's gonna be
Part of my life. I'm really honest. I commend it. Like,
it's gonna be brutal.
I can't even
It's gonna be
fathom
so brutal.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's gonna break my body.
I can't even imagine that. Like,
I just
honestly,
keep thinking, like, where do you go to the bathroom? You just jump
Oh,
in
you
the
pee,
water?
you
Just go in the water.
You pee yourself.
Yeah,
Honestly, if we were running, so like, that's just a side note too. Like in marathon, most runners who are like professional marathon runners,
they just
don't
go.
stop for the water. They
No.
pee themselves.
Yeah.
Not only pee them, they shit themselves too.
I did
If
not
you
know
were
that.
a really good runner, most like other pros, like yeah. No. If,
I didn't know this.
We're not trying to break records, but like,
Yeah.
let's say I was running. Let's say I wanted to run a personal best. You're trying to qualify for Boston. Let's say you got to run a sub. I bet you if we asked Blake, he would tell you people do it, because if you're trying to break, you can't stop for a 3-minute piss. Like that could put you over the mark. So if you're like trying to qualify for Boston or even better, like you are pissing yourself as you run.
I'm not shitting myself.
No, not that far, but yeah,
not
no.
shit yourself, but yeah.
Well, okay, let me ask you: if you were a runner and you could qualify for Boston, then you have to go number 2. Would you stop and risk Boston?
I'd stop, take
We're
off
just-
my shirt.
No.
I'd set up the nice toilet paper ring in the porta potty.
You would give
you
up
kidding, bro? I'd make sure I was good enough that I didn't need to rely on that 5 minutes.
That's a big deal, though.
I guess I'm not going to Boston.
Anyways, that was a little segue to answer your question. Yeah, you're in the water. You can
Yeah,
pee in your
it's
suit,
dope.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But when are you planning on doing it? Do you have a date in mind?
August 22nd.
Wow. Oh, so like confirmed everything. So you're basically
Yeah.
trying to-
So Jack's launching the website the same week as Bell Let's Talk Day.
Okay.
Wow.
So that is January 29th.
Yep.
And we're launching it because it's a significant mental health week. And then, it gives us ample time to go out and get donors and sponsors and all that stuff.
Like a handful of months, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a few questions about that, but the one thing I want to jump back to is like when you said that you saw the paddles up from everybody, like kind of all over the world. Like, what was that like when you saw that? Like, you wake up to see that, and you see that it kind of caught on, and it's going viral, and it, like, does that give you the same kind of like? Let me rephrase this. What gave you more of a rush and a feeling of excitement? That first time you stood up again on the paddleboard, or seeing everyone kind of buy into the paddles up and like that really bringing them together? Did one bring you more joy? Were they different?
So when I got back on the paddleboard, it was an amazing day. Like it was like I've done that day before, and the weather was was rough, but we do it because the media comes out, and you have to do it because it's setting the stage for safety on the water for boating season. But that day was beautiful, and I remember my friend who came with me. Like, I asked her. I had to go to the bathroom that day, and we had to. It's
Fair question. Where do you go to the bathroom? There you go.
It's down by Ontario. It was filmed down by Ontario Place. So, and there were tons of steps, and I, she held me as I went up the stairs, and I was like, "You don't think they know, do you?" I was like, "You don't think they've caught on yet?" Even though I'm not actually out there doing anything. But when I got on that day, it was like the sun hit my face, and I felt like I was at home. Like, I felt like, the doctors said I couldn't do it, and I did it, and it was a really proud moment. And it was just really, really rewarding. But when I saw the paddles up thing, that was like a beautiful moment. That was seeing other people come together who didn't know me, had no personal connection, and hearing from people, like thousands of messages of like, I heard your speech. Like, I've got multiple sclerosis, or I've got Parkinson's, or my dad had cancer, or something like that, and how it was kind of universal, and that was just a beautiful, really special thing.
I want to say, you mentioned Jay Shetty and Ashton Kutcher both shared it. Like, that's got to be. We had Tom Brady and some other like A-list celebrities comment on Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. So I guess you saw it. They commented on ours, and that was probably one of the coolest things to happen to me in a long time. So I can imagine, Jay Shetty and Ashton Kutcher sharing your videos got to be like, holy shit,
I might be able to get you Tony Horton tonight.
Yeah, we'll set it up. We'll talk after. We'll talk off camera. We'll get you and Jordan gotta work some magic. But
that's amazing. Yeah,
it's got to be something. Really cool
it's like one of those things that you're like, wow, like you got really excited about, right?
Yeah,
so, yeah,
that's
awesome.
crazy.
I'm gonna switch over to the book unless you got other things.
I want to ask about we'll go to the book, and then I want to ask again about the training and like the whole like goal, because that's a big deal, and obviously like people need to be aware of this because it's for a good cause, and obviously, never mind, the cause is awesome. The feat of human capability to do that is also amazing. So I think let's talk about the book,
and then we'll circle back,
and then we'll kind of wrap it on that. Yeah,
I like that,
perfect.
Georgie. We're on the same vibe today. Okay, so tell us about the book. The Diaries of the Unbalanced Paddleboarder.
Yeah,
Crash and Rise.
So as it's it's my story, but it's a lot of people's stories, and it's a mixture of my story and then the lessons learned from that can be applied to other people's lives. And so the speech happened in August 2019. And that started I had been documenting my journey the entire time, like the 8 months before, and then in September I thought, I'm really going to I'm gonna turn this into a book. This is a story. Like, I'm gonna turn like paddleboarder was told he can't ever paddleboard ever again. Like, I'm gonna, like, all of the amazing things that did happen are worth sharing in a book, and I'm gonna write it. So I started in September, and that came out just over a year. So it came out just late this past October, and
wow.
Crash and Rise.
Did you like self-publish? Yeah, someone help? Like, question: How did it get?
No, so I have a publisher.
Okay. And
she's amazing. Her name's Tabitha Rose. If you're listening,
shout out Tabitha.
Shout out Tabitha. So she's a publisher, and she does many things. She's amazing, and so that came out in October, and it's now carried at Barnes and Noble, Indigo Chapters and Kohl's, Amazon, Book City, TO. Most books retailers, if they don't carry it, like if people just mention it, like it's an assistant, like people can order it if they don't carry it.
I was just flipping through and I saw the pictures at the back, and you've really, like, even with the pictures, you've documented everything.
Yeah.
Like, we've got, so the before pictures in India, we have the picture of the ear, which I'm not gonna.
I've seen it. Yeah,
you
I,
saw it.
I have a weak stomach. I have a very weak stomach in general. Like,
But, like,
So-
you
so I-
documented everything.
Yeah. Someone's not going to be a doctor.
never. I knew from a young age I could not be a doctor. No, like I'm not good. Like if I see a video of someone that's like jumping and I know that there might be a chance of an injury, can't watch it.
Yeah.
Like even I like sports, and when I know like the injuries that happen in basketball,
Yeah,
like when
yeah,
Gordon Hayward, Paul George. Like, I've
Alex
never
Smith?
seen the highlights. Never watched
Yeah.
them again. Alex Smith. I can't watch that stuff. I have a
Yeah.
very weak stomach. Not
Yeah.
weak stomach, just like
Yeah.
gives me that pain shock. You know.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
How long did it take you to write this? If you don't mind me asking.
So that it was easier for me because I had been writing about it, like journaling about it, and then so I'd been journaling about it, and then when I started writing the speech in July for August, I really started sharing it, the experience of what I was going through online. And I started almost using social media like Facebook, Instagram, changing it from my paddleboarding company to my personal
Inspirational, motivational
yeah,
speaker, yeah.
and sharing that. So that made the writing process a lot easier because I'd done a lot of the writing before, and I can just kind of timeline everything and then add bits and pieces and take stuff out. But you know, the editing team, I had amazing editors. We did 3 rounds of edits on it, and that took a long time. That took months, but yeah, crazy rewarding. Like it was awesome.
I know it looks great. The pictures at the end too can obviously share that story.
I most like
the feel of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been a Cactus Club?
Yeah, of course I've been the Cactus
Yeah,
Club.
so like it feels like they're the Matt business.
Matt-
card.
yeah,
Like when
I know
first
what you
saw
mean,
it,
Ash,
I was
yeah.
like, oh
yeah, their menu is the matte
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah.
I know what
It's
you're
got a
talking
nice, good feel to it. It feels like being outside in the summer on the water. Actually,
Yeah.
they did a really good job with the
So
cover
so
of it.
when I wrote it, I was like, I want to design that, like, this is like, it's a story about about mental health, about paddleboarding, about everything. But I wanted to write a story that was designed as like a beach read, something light, something funny. I'm not that funny today, but I can be.
Don't worry, I made up for it today.
Thanks.
I roast myself.
You
It's
got
okay.
me.
I got you.
Something that you can take to a beach and
Casually read.
yeah, and yeah. So yeah,
If you had to paraphrase it, and wrap it up, the Cole's Notes version, what would you say? Kind of just your story. The last, I guess, 30 minutes that we've been talking, 45 minutes.
wrap it up the story.
No, would you
No.
say that's kind of what it is? Just the last 45 minutes of us chatting, give or take?
There's more.
There's a lot more?
There's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. It's there's I go deep into what it looks like for people who are struggling, who have challenges and what that looks like. What it looks like when things don't happen the way that you plan, and kind of where that can lead, and yeah. So
Were you at any point scared? Like, yeah, any point during this, even before the book, when you first started sharing your journey, after you went to, you got the point where you had to go get treatment for like mental health and all that stuff. After that, were you still a little bit worried about sharing your story? Like, did it take a lot of time, or did you just one day say, like, people need to know about this because other people could be in the circumstance?
So the first time that I went viral, I think it was the first. So it was Power Positivity, and it was. I think that one was close to 1 million views, and you're really open, like when a big platform takes something that you've done like that and run it, like, you know, you open yourself up to whoever's on that platform. And fortunately, like I've seen other speakers who've been on there, and people have kind of, you know, reached out or said, you know, what's she talking about, this message, and
Shoot 'em
and,
apart.
yeah, and sometimes it's rough, and I knew that could happen. I never got it. I was very, you know, I wore a bow tie. I shouldn't have wore a bow tie, but I wore a bow tie when I gave that talk. And I did that purposefully because it had the viral element to it. But you know, the worst comment I ever got was bow tie's terrible. But it was, that guy was right. It was a really bad bow tie.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Mind you, did his purpose.
But no, like I had, you know, thousands of messages and really only one that was, no,
But
I didn't really worry about it.
That's what I mean. Like, so at that point, like once that happened, there was nothing that you were kind of scared. Once that kind of gave you the validation, you said, you know what, I'm going to share my story more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just thought, you know, this can help. This can help people, and yeah, just go for it.
Is there one message? Like I know you said a few. Is there one message that really stuck out to you? Like besides a person, you know, besides, you know, some celebrity sharing it. Like, is there one person that you can think? And if you can't, it's cool. But is there one that like really just hit home or really resonated differently? Like a specific person, anyone that sticks out, or was there just so many it's hard to pick one?
Like people reaching out.
Yeah,
to,
kind of like just saying your story really helped because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I see.
No, so like a bunch of people in so I have Ramsey Hunt syndrome, so like a lot of people in the Ramsey Hunt syndrome community, especially. But there are like there's this girl named Julie, and she's in London, Ontario, and she's, you know, she's been one of my biggest supporters, one of my biggest fans, and she's an amazing human being. And she just, you know, she's like, she has a head injury. It's different. But she said, no, it's just like really motivating and inspiring to see, you know, the progression and how fast. And it gives, you know, other people hope that we can do it too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound ignorant, but is there a big paddleboarding community? Like I know nothing about paddleboarding. What's
huge?
Is it? Yeah, I just I know I've done it once in Florida because it was on the beach and it was something to do.
So there's like an APP World Tour. There's like we have there's a World Championships coming up in Hungary in June. It's in the
Is it an Olympic sport?
It was just decided. I believe it's just been decided that it's going to be in the 2024.
Okay. Who's like the
but
GOAT,
it's in the Pan Am Games. So this year, because of all of that crazy paddles up stuff, I was nominated for International Stand-Up Paddleboarding Man of the Year. It's gone for 11 years, the awards. And I was nominated. It was me and a bunch of world champions and Pan Am Games winners. And I became the first Canadian to become International Stand-Up Paddleboarding Man of the Year.
Congrats.
I beat
Holy
all the
shit.
world champions.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
that's
So
amazing.
I
Congrats.
won the International People's Choice, which was chosen by the public, and then I won Man of the Year, which was chosen by the committee.
Wow.
So yeah, it was crazy. And actually, for the first time, it was the first time that a Canadian's won, and a Canadian won the Man of the Year and the Woman of the Year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Canadians
Big year for Canada.
big year
We
for
took it
Canada.
all.
And the paddleboarding.
Do you know who
world-
the girl is that won it? Like, by any chance? Or you guys
Maddie
friends?
LeBlanc. Yeah.
Maddie LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's epic.
She's a beast, eh?
She's beast.
Does she
Yeah.
paddleboard across Lake Ontario too, or is she like?
She's done big distances. I think she did the Tennessee 50K this year. But no, she's like beast mode. She's awesome.
So are these races? It's just like you're on a paddleboard and you're going.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's what.
Yeah. Yeah.
You must be jacked to go
I
on
was
those
gonna
races.
say
Be like the world
shoulders.
champ.
Shoulders and legs.
Yeah. So
Actually, and core. That's everything.
last January, I did. There was, you know where the Marleys play?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do the boat show there.
Coca-Cola Coliseum, not
Changed
Rico.
it?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Whoops.
Coca-Cola Coliseum. Anyways, not
Anyways,
irrelevant. Not
for
really
the
relevant.
So
Mars
they
play,
so
yeah.
they flood the rink and they do boating shows during
the boat show.
during
Okay.
the boat show.
Yeah.
And they had a paddleboarding race and I did my first. It was only 400 meters. I came dead last, but it was just to prove to myself. It was crazy. Everybody was off the water like 5 minutes before me, and everybody's like cheering for me to like come in. And the announcer probably was the only person in the building who had no idea what was going on. When he was like, "Come on," and I was, and I was like, "Oh, he doesn't know my story."
They're probably like, this guy's taking forever.
Yeah, he's like, "Let's go. We've got more races to do."
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
so
it's
you
too
have a
funny.
good sense of humor about the whole situation now, which is nice.
Now
right?
I
It's-
do.
Now you do.
Now
'cause
I
it's,
do.
you know, when you're in that dark spot, there's
Yeah.
no light at you feel like
No.
there's no light, right? So
Yeah.
it's nice that you can look back and laugh
Yeah.
on it now because it's, you know, you've kind of passed and
Yeah.
you made it far. But I think it's a good point to kind of.
The
keep
only thing I
going
want to
on
ask,
the-
I want to ask. I know we're gonna go with this
No,
now.
I was
but
gonna- on the
back-
Rochester.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Ask your question.
That's where I was gonna go. No, that's where I was gonna go. Is that so? Now for this across Lake Ontario, you have 8 months essentially to train to August. What does your training schedule look like? Like, is it like
So
very
it-
structured, planned?
So it's pretty structured. So I have to be realistic with so my condition. I can have an up day and then a down day. So today I'm having an up day. I've done a lot.
Oh, you're
today.
here with the pals. Hello.
I'm here with the pals. It's
Great
great
day.
Boom. So, but like I can, you know, usually after a lot of physical activity, I crash for a day, sometimes two. And so I just need to be, so right now I'm doing, you know, with a head condition, I'm doing an hour and a half walk every day. And then I do about half an hour workout at home. And then in February, and then try to get on the water once a week. And then in February, that hour walk every day becomes 2 hours of walk. And then half an hour. And then hopefully 2 times on the water every week. And it just keeps on building until I'm on the water most of the time, May through August.
In terms of working out, what's a workout look like for you? Because I don't think there's any paddleboarding machines at the gym. right?
Weights, sit-ups, push-ups.
So basic stuff.
Basic
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, it's hard because like I put it out on social media. I was like, how does a person with a neurological condition train for anything?
Well, yeah,
like
like
how? So it's just kind of like I'm just playing with like whatever.
There's not many personal
Yeah.
trainers out there that
Yeah.
have experience in this, right?
But-
it's not like you can just
yeah.
hire someone.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, let me get that $50 a week plan,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to follow it.
So an interesting part of my story, actually, that I haven't really touched on was that when all of this happened to me and I tried to, like, I wanted to normalize what it was, I Googled famous people, my condition, because I was like, I just want to put a face on this so that I don't feel so alone in this. And I found a couple politicians and I thought, okay. And then I saw Tony Horton from P90X. And he's like celebrity fitness guru. And this
The
happened.
ab ripper X. I used to
Yeah.
do it back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how I knew who you were talking about.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
An ab ripper X. Come on, you get that.
You got it.
Yeah, man,
let's
I,
crush
the ab
this.
ripper X. I can almost like mimic it word for word.
Yeah.
I never could do it, but
Yeah.
I would try to
Yeah.
attempt it. Yeah, my parents' bedroom when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not a kid when I was like 18, 19.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So so I messaged like I thought, you know, like I was in a really rough place. Like it was January. I looked like a White Walker from the Game of Thrones with how my face was. Like it was a really rough time. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna write to him and I'm just gonna see what he says. And then I found him on social media. And, you know, he had hundreds of thousands of followers, fan base of millions. And I thought, I'll just put it out. And then I got this message and a friend request. And you know, Tony said some amazing thing. It's in the book. Like, it's
Unreal.
awesome.
I'll read that.
But no, he was a part of my book launch event. Like, yeah. like pretty amazing. So maybe I'll talk to Tony a little bit about training.
Yeah.
We have some work to do.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time on the podcast, but it's just about shooting your shot. Like, what's the worst case scenario? You road to him and he doesn't reply.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, you have a friend who you can relate to, who you can put a face to a disease. You can kind of bounce ideas off and just feel like you're not in this alone. Right. So again, anybody listening, shoot your shot always. Never be afraid to shoot your shot.
100%.
Yeah.
That's so you're gonna build up to it. Do you think, like, in your mind, is there anything with like maybe worrying you or holding you back that you think, like, as you build up and get to that point, like 8 months is still quite a long time, but starting from the point you are now to get there and like not really spending, let's say, a full days in the water until May or so.
Yep.
Do you think that's gonna pose limitations? Do you feel like you'll get it back by then? Like, where's your head at in that regard?
I think that the on-land training is just as important as the on-the-water training.
Okay.
So I think that by the time April kind of rolls around, which I'd be on the water quite a bit, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. But it's different. Like, I can't say that I'm gonna be doing, hours every day. Some days I can, some days I can't.
Fair.
But it's just gonna be, on that day in August or 2 days or whatever. I'll have my support crew. I'll have my buddy with me who's cheering me on. She said to me, "This isn't a race. We're gonna take our time. It's gonna be like a vacation, not a vacation, but like a
journey.
Like this is an adventure. It's not a race. So we'll just go out there and do it."
And are you going from Toronto across that way or that way back?
No, so we're gonna take a boat across.
Okay.
And so we'll have to check in with border services over there, and we'll have to bring our passports. And then I've been told by Marine Police unit that expect Canadian Border Services when we arrive. So have your passports with you.
Oh wow.
Got a little Ziploc baggie attached to your board.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that like the American Coast Guard or the Canadian Coast Guard comes out, like, sees you in the middle of the water, and like, what the hell's this guy doing? Like, let's.
No, I don't think so, because there's been so many people who've swam it that I don't think that there's paperwork to do.
Yeah.
But it'll be all orchestrated. And
I can't even imagine swimming across that. No, paddleboard, anything across that. I'm not a water person. I
swam.
I love the beach, but I'm like a. I'm a
swam.
water.
I did a triathlon back in 2018 or something like that, 19. And the swimming part of it, I was the captain of my high school swim team.
Okay.
I was a great swimmer back in the day. So I thought I was going to crush this swim aspect of it. And actually, funny enough, because I'm going to tell a story about this paddleboarder lady. So I'm like, I'm going to crush this thing. I'm going to get ahead. I'm going to just destroy it. So I get in the water. My leg cramps up. And I'm like, I start basically thinking I'm going to die in a nutshell. I was like, this is the worst thing ever. And I look up and there's a lady sitting on a paddleboard. And I go, can I just like chill? She's like, you'll be disqualified. And at that point, I wanted to just drown so bad. I just wanted to grab on. Yeah. I'm like, if I grab on, I'm going to, I'm disqualified. I can't do this. So I sucked it up. I swam. I was going to swim it in a pool. I could do it in like 22 minutes, 23 minutes. It took me 44 minutes or something ridiculous. Yeah. So after that, I've decided I know my limitations in swimming in outdoor areas.
How many kilometers was that?
I think it was like a kilometer.
So So take you. I can't even do that math. What's 40 minutes times 160? 640.
Jordan's not paying attention. Else you get that. It's okay. Not important. It's too long. It's okay. It's too long. Too long, anyways. Don't worry.
It's okay. Rick's. Yeah, I would not have solved that one.
It would be too long. But yeah, so I decided I'm not doing any long distance. Anything in the water.
Yeah.
Good. But honestly, good for you for doing that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The fact that
August 22nd.
Figure, right? If I get tired, I'll just lay down on the board. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be.
Imagine it just rains that day.
No. No way.
No, positive vibes. We'll send good GVO. Good vibes only out there. So you said it's August 22nd, 2021, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm assuming it's probably a Saturday.
So it's a Tuesday.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe just less boats out there.
I chose Tuesday because it's an awareness campaign, and just knowing how media works, Tuesday's a good day. So if it brings in more money for them,
more media attention, more money. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Really crazy. Honestly, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. I can't even
Me too.
Yeah.
Like, I just think like bike, just even like cycling that far is tough. Like I did the
Driving that far, I get bored.
yeah, I
It's a
did
2-hour drive to
um,
Buffalo. I honestly
yeah.
get bored of that drive.
I did the Ride to Conquer Cancer, which is 2
Okay,
days,
amazing.
200 kilometers.
Yeah.
And that was tough.
Yeah.
And that's 100 kilometers
Yeah.
a day for 2 days. And
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like my knees were hurting, my
Yeah,
body
yeah,
was
yeah.
hurting. So
Yeah.
kudos to you for doing that. It's obviously very
Thank you.
exciting. And
Thank you.
this is usually around the time, the point where we start to wrap this up. So first off, I want to thank you for coming on the
No.
podcast because you've been great in the books, and we've got
Yeah.
to get you signed and sign the beautiful wall we have. But we've got 2 questions we always ask every single guest.
Oh,
Do you know them?
no.
Oh, he's never listened to the ends. Okay. So we have the first question. If there was a movie about your life, who would you want to star as you? Could be anyone from any given time.
Oh, that's a really terrible question. I think maybe Eddie Redmayne or Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the first one? Eddie Redmayne?
He's from that movie about that scientist. 12. Oh my gosh.
The movie about the scientist, Jordan. Gotta be a little bit more specific on
Yeah.
that one.
No, it's so good.
Do you know the movie she's
I
talking?
can't remember the name.
Eddie.
Theory of everything.
The Theory of
Theory of
Everything.
Everything?
Oh, who plays Stephen Hawking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a
Oh.
sick one.
Yeah, actually, I can see
Okay.
that for sure.
I like. That's the first time we've got that. What's his name? Eddie
Redmayne.
Raymond. Wow, that's a good answer.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Boom.
Boom. 1 point for you.
There we go.
Let's-
That's
Last
actually a really good
question.
one. Last question. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
To trust the process and to know that if you trust the process, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out the way that it's supposed to.
It's good advice.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's
I
really
agree.
good.
Mike.
Boom.
Boom!
Thank you for
Let's
coming.
go.
If people want to find out more about you, the journey that you're doing, the book, where can they go?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram as the Unbalanced Paddleboarder. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, like everywhere.
Yeah.
Speeches are online on YouTube. Just look me up, Mike Shoreman. And the book is, Indigo, Amazon, Crash and Rise, Diaries of the Unbalanced Paddleboarder.
Love it. Love it. Well,
Grab
we'll
a copy, guys. Local bookstore, online. Amazon's easy. Everyone knows Amazon. I mean, that's easy, right?
We'll make sure we tag everything in the comments. But again, Mike, thanks for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you.
And guys, check out his book. Watch the videos online. It's been a great chat. And
yeah, when the campaign goes up and all that stuff, make sure to donate, support, because that's a really
a
ambitious
good
challenge.
cause.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Really cool.
all right, guys, if you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all the fun things. And other than that, signing off, pals. Cheers.
See ya.